Hey, subscribe, please, all that stuff. Like, share, everywhere. What's the other stuff? Comment, please. I'd like to know what you think. And, like, share, comment. Oh, subscribe, because I got other stuff to say. I write it down because I just read the notes right now. Damn, I got to read the notes again. Okay. It says science, Western versus Eastern. This is a problem, Western versus Eastern. We used to do that stuff in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. You could say Western versus Eastern, and people would know what you were talking about. But since then, so much has changed. Like now, for instance, the Chinese are no longer referred to as Orientals. Matter of fact, we are no longer referred to as Orientals. We are the original Orientals. I don't know what you heard. That's what's happening. We are the original Orientals. The Chinese used to be called Orientals also, but they decided to go with Asian back in the 60s and 70s because our reputation, those colored people, our reputation was not very, creditable. But as Orientals, we had a way of life. We did a liberty. They call it different things now, but the way of life and the liberty was we always spoke the truth. We lived in a nature bound reality where the creator was imbued in everything. There was no thing over here and thing over there. We didn't even have good and bad. Good and bad was just a matter of if you like it or you don't like it. We didn't have good and evil, I mean. And right and wrong, we had right and left. We still got right and left, but most people forgot about right and left. They all they into is right and wrong. That's not our culture. That's what I mean by culture. Okay, so let me see this thing again because we're talking about Eastern versus Western. So Eastern has that no, there's no devil and all that stuff. We just do what is. We deal in a singularity of the creator. The Western thing has the duality of dichotomy and, duality, right, wrong, left, right, all that oppositional thing. And so they have, their whole culture breeds on that, which is not necessarily a problem to them. It's a problem to other cultures because they try to dominate. Now they want to dominate. That's part of their culture, to dominate or be dominated because they're in the if or culture. They're not in a everybody groove, like Pence used to say. Marvin Gaye used to say, you know, uh, let's just chill, man. Just be good. We ain't got to do all that stuff. You know what's happening. So now this is where we at. So the thing is, though, because of the misunderstanding of Western versus Eastern, most people don't know what Eastern is anymore. I'll tell you how to find it. Look it up under the name Oriental. You can look into all the different museums and stuff for Oriental. It's going to come under that name more than Eastern. You might find it under some Eastern, mostly the Indians and the Chinese are going to deal with the Eastern, the Oriental. How far back you can go in Oriental, you'll find it. Anytime you can find Oriental juxtaposed against Occidental, you're in the right area. Because that's what it is. It's Oriental and Occidental. They started calling it East and West. But I mean, if you keep going east, you'll wind up west, I think. I mean, that's how they say it goes. And if you keep going west, guess what? You're going to wind up east. So that East and West don't really tell you nothing. It's a confusing thing. They did it on purpose to confuse everything. Took out Occidental and Oriental, just like they changed the name of my people from so many names. I think in most of these people's lifetime, they went from this to that to this to that. Now they got everything and they got it. I just looked at some papers from the 1750s. They talking about African Americans. I say, wow, they quick with they change when they want to switch the name, because they switched the name, they changed. All the names have been changed to protect the guilty. Remember that. because the truth don't need to change. The truth is that, the guilty must change, keep changing names and stuff so that you don't catch them. And all the names have been changed to protect the guilty. Like they say at one time, we were the original Americans. Now, people who've been here, and now since the European has come here and decided he wants the place, now he's the American. And it's funny because our people be running around trying to find out what they want to do, and they can't make it heads or tail out of all of this confusion. But it's just like any other thing with confusion. They can't actually destroy us. We are destroying ourselves by not speaking the truth. We've come out of the protection of the Creator, and therefore we are up against the whims of the dichotomy world. Once we come into speaking truth all the time, every time, truth as you know it, not truth as you believe it, because people will hear stories and narratives and they'll be, oh, that sounds like, no, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about truth as you have experienced it. Truth is in experience. Truth is not in somebody told you something. Truth is in the experience. This actually happened in my life, and I know it happened. I speak on it truthfully. Yes. Everything else is what I believe, what I read in a book, somebody else's opinion, and I try to always say that too. I read this in a book, I heard somebody say that, because that ain't me. That's just something I heard. I ain't going to say that's truth. I will tell you and qualify certain statements. So now, what happened is Occidental is what, look it up. Google stuff. That's why I don't be saying a lot of stuff, because I want to inspire you to say, well, what's the rest of the story? What's the rest of the story? Because that's what's happening in the rest of the story. I was reading, I'll tell you how I come into this. Uh, the some sutra by Buddha, I forget the name. Oh, the Lotus Sutra. They use it in some of the Buddhist groups, the Lotus Sutra. So when I got it to read it, because I know people who are involved in it, I said, I'm going to go and read the book because I want to know what they're doing. I know what I'm doing, but I want to know what other people are doing. So I go and I read a lot of stuff and check out other stuff, to see what other people are doing. And I went to and read the book, the Lotus Sutra. And in the very beginning of that book, it says 10,000 got up and walked off. That's how it opens up the sutra. The Lotus Sutra, it opens up, if you go by the book, that's what it is saying. 10,000 got up and walked off. So I read the rest of the book, but I was like, wait a minute, who is that 10,000 that got up and walked off? Why they walked off? What's up with all that? How you going to open a book saying 10,000 got up and walked off? What happened? And then as I read the book, I found out that they were said to have understood what Buddha had said. And I said, so what did he say? So I went around and checked what he said. He said, innumerable meanings. The Sutra of Innumerable Meanings. I'm doing this on purpose. People say, why are you even talking? Because I want you to read the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings. I want you to do all of these things to elevate yourself. I can't tell, nobody can tell you 1 through 100. You live to 100, nobody can tell you what to do each year, every day, what to do. No. But if we could set you in a place where you start thinking and looking in that's what teaching used to be about. Teaching wasn't to tell you nothing. Teaching was to get you to be inspired to search. That's how we were taught. To be inspired to search, not to just go and know some answers to answer some questions so I can get a job. Who does that? I don't even that's what a dog does, you know what I mean? Anyway, so, right, Occidental, Oriental. That's where you're going to find culture. All this historical stuff, that's not how we really travel, man. We never have. We've been here for millennia. And we never traveled with all this historical writing stuff. You'll see some glyphs over here, some glyphs over there. But you know, it's not comprehensive writing all over the world. And we've been here for thousands of years. They say millions of years. I don't even care how many years. None of that matters. And today, right this minute, none of that matters. I'm going to tell you something else that don't matter. I'm going to get a whole nother video on it, but I'm going to just speak it right here. Who you are, they don't know who we are. We don't know who we are. All that garbage. You don't need to. First of all, you know who you are. The thing is what you are, is what you don't know. One love.